Chapter 1 Chaos Cola. There was no light, there was no water, there was nothing. Jack felt sleepy, hungry, and alone. Since 9 years, there hasn't been a single visitor in Greenfield. Short after America was invaded by the communists, the curtain fell down. Radiated TVs flickered green light trough the neighboring houses. Pretty much all of Greenfield's inhabitants were extinguished, for all Jack knew. Jack knew there were survivors, but they operated on ham radios, which are very expensive to purchase. Though money did not exist anymore, it was still hard to find what you want in the middle of nowhere. He sits down on his bed and lights a cigarette. He inhales deeply and moans. I have to get out. Today, Jack came to sense that survival is not a game. He had to see for himself if there was something out there. He stood up, grabbed his jacket and walked out of his room. He entered the hall. It looked so gray and dusty now, so sad. The last time he enjoyed this scene, life was still flourishing in Greenfield. Jack lights another cigarette and bends over to peek trough the mailbox. The wind blows, making him feel comfortable that there is really nothing for him to worry about. Why should I go out? He thinks. No food there, no good there. His cigarette finished with a crackling burn. His heart pounds trough his throat. He opens the door and runs trough the street. He keeps on running until he stumbles on some rubbish. He falls. Jack hits the ground on his teeth. The pain shoots trough his head as he can hear his teeth splitting. Tick. Tick. Jack's watch hypnotizes his perception. He opens his eyes, and sees that it is autumn. Moss is growing everywhere. Poles, cars, houses, even the roads. The rewarding look makes him anxious. He stands up with a sore mouth, covered in blood. It just tastes like iron, he thinks. All that chewing on keys and coins gave him a taste for iron. Only if Sparky was here, then he could scout the area for me. He looks baffled now, he simply doesn't know how to handle reality. Stumbling on, he spots the grocery market. Cola. How could he forget the supermarket? Come on, lazy dog. Come on, he tells himself. Jack stands in front of the supermarket's door and reaches for his lockpicks. Trying to force the gigantic steel lock, he considers to take his time and kneels down. Rattle. 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 Squeak. Click. He just broke into the supermarket. If only Deputy Beckons would have seen me now. He quickly rushes trough the entrance, dropping his keychain behind. Milk, bread, cookies, peanut butter, it's all there. Drool and some blood starts oozing out of his mouth as he sees the chocolate peppermint crisp tart. He can't take any more and lights another cigarette. Smoke gathers in fumes around his face. His senses sharpen and he looks straight into the cooler. The moment was just too crazy. The calligraphic letters Coca-Cola flashed trough his eyes. He inhales his cigarette and hastes himself towards the cooler. He opens the door, grabs the bottle, and starts drinking. Twist. Total ecstasy runs trough his blood now, and never ever did cool drink taste this good. He finished his cigarette and while plundering trough the racks. He pondered for a second and mumbled to himself. What is money good for anyway? You can't eat.